like this. I'm going around and letting everybody know that they welcome to the show. It's the latest thing you ever seen, you already know.
We
Where
are
we
live.
introduce you to your host of the hour, Hippie Mike and Mike. Yeah, it's the man hour. Got the hottest plays, all the breaking news. Every rumor, every trade, every breaking bruise. Tighten knuckle screws, yeah, it's going down. Have you saying what the fuck and never watered down? It's going down, I'll be rolling up. And if you buy it or you sell it, then you made the cut. Watch me flip it back, I can double up. I got sriracha for that ass, I'ma burn it up. Gotta check the rules and know that if you fair and foul, ref throw the whistle, coach throw the towel. We can do this on the field or outside the line. It's the man hour though, now we going live.
And what is up, everybody? Michael Buckhouse here with the Mike and Mike Man Hour, live, raw, and uncut sports talk with my man LB. LB, what's going on, brother? LB, what's going on?
Oh, I keep forgetting that you're calling me LB now, man. My bad. I was sitting there looking at Matthew like, hey, bro, you gonna talk?
So Mike kind of let the cat out of the bag a little early here. We got today is Tuesday. That is NFL Power Ranking Day. So we do have Matt Benz on the show right after our first break here. He's going to give us this new top 10 list, and it looks a little bit different from week one. So, Mikey, it is a beautiful day. It is noon, our new time. How are you adjusting to the new time?
I like it.
Yeah, I feel like it gives me more time with the family. I like to think, but it is taking some time to transition because I do gotta move everything from point A to point B. So we'll definitely get the kinks worked out 100%. I'm not worried about that at all. We are professionals, right? Semi-professionals.
I mean, I don't know about you. I know I'm a professional. I mean, you're a child sometimes. But.
Speaking of children, adults, young adults, we have a quarterback here that is looking to get recruited to a Division I school. He's had several schools reach out to him and stuff like that. And when you look at a quarterback at the college level here, Mike, what do you think an ideal college quarterback is, like in your eyes?
You know, it's different because when you playing college ball is totally different than playing NFL ball, in my opinion, right? Because you have like people like Tim Tebow who came in and just wrecked college football. Johnny Manziel wrecked college football. Colt McCoy wrecked college football. Colt McCoy has gone down in NCAA history as one of the most accurate passers in college football. But it did not translate into that next level. So it's almost like, you know, I mean, look at Jalen Hurts, right? He plays. We all know he got drafted by the Eagles. Do I think he's gonna make it in that next level? I don't. I don't think
we'll find out by week 5, though.
Yeah, I mean Carson Wentz will get hurt. You know what I mean? But I don't know, man. Like a college football quarterback is totally different than an NFL quarterback. I mean, you only have like a handful. Like, what's the kid's name from Clemson?
Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence. You know what I mean? Trevor Lawrence will make it at that next level because
really?
he is I think so. I think Trevor Lawrence, he's already playing in a pro-style offense in Clemson. I think whatever team, I mean, let me walk that back a little bit.
You better walk that back.
It depends on what team he goes to. But, I mean, like Joe Burrow, he had one good season, or he played one season with LSU. And, you know, when I watched him on Sunday, you can see the translation from college, from running a pro-style offense in college to going to the Bengals. Now, he didn't have a superstar day by any means, you know what I mean? But Joe Burrow did look good. Yeah. But coming from high school to college, I mean, you have to be a dual threat quarterback going into college,
right?
Especially a D1 school, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it at the end of the day. I mean, it all definitely depends on where you go. I mean, you can go to Alabama and you have to be a dual threat because they don't run a pro style offense there. But if you would go to like Clemson per se or Michigan, they do run pro style offenses, and a big, strong quarterback with a strong arm will succeed there. But if you don't have any legs, I mean, it is what it is. So, but let's talk a little bit about Joe Burrow before we bring Benz on here to the show. I mean, we have seen Joe Burrow now. We've had time to digest the game and see where his game is actually going to go. And I believe the Bengals play the Browns this week. Do you think Joe Burrow takes leaps and bounds from week 1 to week 2 and possibly get in the win column?
I think they'll definitely get in the win column. I don't think the Browns are. I think the Browns are going to be worse than what you and I predicted them to be.
Especially after week 1, man. That was an ugly game.
It was really ugly. Odell Beckham Jr. is not happy. You can see him on the sidelines huffing and puffing. His heart is already out of it. But I don't think we see Joe Burrow grow in leaps and bounds in 1 week. But I do think we see him making some more progression and making better reads and being a better quarterback. Do I think he's going to grow in leaps and bounds in 1 week? No. Look for him to grow leaps and bounds by like week 7, week 8, week 9, because we did not have that. We didn't have that off season that they're in the training camps that they're used to. You know what I mean? But him going through the season, actually getting that. I mean, because we all know getting in-game experience is totally different than getting practice experience.
Right, and this is the same Joe Burrow that you said was going to be better than Patrick Mahomes, right? I just want to put that out there.
Yeah, I do.
You're still wrong about that.
No, I'm not. Give him and I didn't say he was going to be better this year. I said give him 3 to 5 years and he'll be a better quarterback than Patrick Mahomes.
And Patrick Mahomes year 1 or your overall?
Overall. He'll be a better quarterback overall.
All right, so Mike reiterated this, guys, on September 15th at 1:08 East Coast time, 12:08 for you Central Time Zones people here, that he said Joe Burrow is going to be better than Patrick Mahomes. So
look, Patrick Mahomes is a really good quarterback.
The greatest.
But he's
already.
Get the fuck out of here with that greatest bullshit.
Well, hey, who was the greatest? Then people say Tom Brady. Didn't he throw 2 interceptions? Patrick Mahomes didn't throw 2 interceptions.
Well, I don't know who the fuck said Tom Brady was the greatest quarterback. Whoever said Tom Brady was the greatest quarterback needs to put the crack pipe down, because he is not the greatest quarterback. And I don't care what anybody says. The greatest quarterback belongs. It's a debate between 2 people, Mr. Joe Montana and Peyton Manning.
That's definitely an interesting little topic here. Right after the break, we'll ask Matt Benz that question, who his greatest quarterback of all time is, and then we're going to get into the NFL Power Rankings, guys. So we're going to take a quick little break, bring Matt Benz onto the show, and talk some NFL, because that is pretty much all we know at the end of the day, and Texas still sucks. We'll be right back. And welcome back to the Mike and Mike Man Hour, guys. Here, Michael Buckeyes with Mike LeBlanc. Guys, it is going to be a great show. We have a special guest for you, Matthew Benz from Benzy's Bit, from Twist, and he's a part of the RTF Sports Network team as well. He has been writing the NFL Power Rankings here for the last couple weeks here, and it is that time. It is time to bring Benz onto the show. Matt Benz, welcome to the show. What's going on today, man?
What, 3-4 days?
You don't even know when you're getting.
It's a trip. Saturdays I'm getting married. Then
don't do it.
Oh, I'm doing it, dude. I got a winner. I've been with her for 5 years. She held me down through all of my recovery process when I got arrested, got clean, got sober. She's been a ride or die through it all, man. So
awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. And that in of itself. So married Saturday. I actually turned 30 on Friday. Saturday I get married. Monday, I hop on a plane to South Carolina. We got a place in a rental in Hilton Head. South Carolina for 5 nights on the ocean. So hopefully a hurricane doesn't wipe us out, but we'll see what happens. You know?
Then Tuesday, Matt wakes up with a sore back because he's 30 and married and is all down, downhill, right?
Exactly. No shit.
So,
yeah, it's awesome.
So before we get into the NFL Power Rankings here, we had a question come over the old Facebook page here from Green Bay Greg. He says,
Yep.
Mike, do you still think the Cowboys are decent when you say that that Joe Burrow is better than Patrick Mahomes?
No, I don't think the Cowboys are decent. Hell no, not when you got Dak Prescott at the helm. No. And you know what? Dak Prescott proved that on Sunday night. Come
He
on,
just
man.
proved that coaching is the issue over there in Dallas land still. So we will dissect that later in the show here. But Ben's Week 2 is upon us here. Our Week 2 NFL game is first Thursday night, but it is Tuesday, and it's time for some power rankings. Let us know who you dropped from your previous top, or let us know who your preseason top 10 was, and who do you have at number 10 now moving forward.
Sure. Let me pull up my preseason here real quick, just because I didn't have that handy.
I actually got it for you right here.
Perfect. Go ahead.
So at number 10, he had the Green Bay Packers. Number 9, Dallas Cowboys. Number 8, Seattle Seahawks. Number 7, Pittsburgh Steelers. Number 6, he had the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Number 5, Indianapolis Colts. Number 4, Baltimore Ravens. Number 3, San Francisco 49ers. Number 2, New Orleans Saints. And number 1, the Kansas City Chiefs. Week 1 is upon us, or past us. Week 2 is coming. Who do you come in at number 10?
At number 10, we got to switch down. Last week, or preseason, they were ranked at number 3. That will be the San Francisco 49ers. They did lose week 1 to the Arizona Cardinals, 20-24. They were 2 of 11 on third down conversions and 0 for 2 on fourth down. Jimmy G, of course, isn't an elite quarterback. I still feel he is a good quarterback. Missing Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, Kittle was all banged up. So seeing that and seeing them still stay in the game against a pretty dynamic offense in the Cardinals, I got them at number 10.
So, Mike, what are your thoughts on that? San Francisco 49ers, number 10.
I don't think 49ers should be in the top 10 at all.
Exactly.
And here's why. That defense, in my opinion, that defense kind of regressed a little bit. Bosa was a non-factor in that game. They took Bosa completely out of that game. And when it comes to the offense, Jimmy G couldn't get his head out of his ass the whole game. So to be in the top 10 in the power rankings, to me, to be in the top 10 in the power rankings, you have to be good on offense and you have to be good on defense. You can't be good on one side of the ball and decent on the other side of the ball. Right, if you're going to be a power team, hey, you've got to be a power team, not a power defense, not a power offense. So to me, 49ers, no way, not in the top 10.
See, now I understand where you're coming from there, LeBlanc, but the big thing for me to realize is that they weren't a power offense last year. They maintained a consistent offense last year, but they weren't a powerhouse. They beat you at defense. And for there to be no preseason this year, you know, that is a big hanger on a lot of the teams that I have in my power rankings. If you make it to a Super Bowl and you lose week 1 because you're missing a bunch of your necessities and your best guy on your team, George Kittle, is banged up and you don't even know what's going on there, I'm going to hang him on the cusp at 10. I'm going to leave him right there. But obviously, you know, we'll see what happens going forward from that.
Yeah, and that's the exact reason why I can't have them in the top 10 is because there was no off season, you know, there are no preseason games, etc. And your defense is read and react. You can put in all the disguises you want, but at the end of the day, you got cover 1, 2, 3, and 4, and maybe some 5, right? You line up and you smack them in the mouth, and the Arizona Cardinals have laid out the blueprint of how to beat the San Francisco 49ers, and I think many teams are going to take that blueprint, much like what the Tennessee Titans did to the Baltimore Ravens in the playoffs last year. They make Lamar Jackson throw the ball down the field, and I really look to see other teams do that throughout the season. So,
well, I mean, Kyler Murray rushed for 97 yards.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, wow. How does a defense go from the defense last season to let Kyler Murray rush for 97 yards?
Not only rushed, but he threw for 300 some yards too. So
Yeah,
and the crazy part about it is he actually rushed for over 100 yards, but he took 2 kneels out of the shotgun to end the game and lost like 9 yards.
Right.
So, it's crazy.
I mean, it's just like Buck. It's just like you said, right? When it comes to defense, it's read and react. You line up, you smack them in the mouth. Yes, you have some zone reads and some man reads and everything like that. But at the end of the day, the off season and things like that. Let's be honest, it's really for the offense to get the offense going.
exactly.
Right? I mean, yes, you want to have your defense because you have some schemes and everything like that, but you can't tell me there's not a defensive player in the league that has not played almost every single scheme. You can't tell me they don't. And that defense was together all last year.
Right.
There's not a whole lot of new pieces.
So Super Bowl hangover's real. The number 9, Ben.
Sure. Yeah, number 9, I've got the Buffalo Bills. Now, they were not in my preseason power rankings. I didn't want to believe it. I still don't know necessarily if I do believe it. They beat the Jets, the god-awful Adam Gase, Crazy Eyes, cursed, worst coach in the NFL, Adam Gase's
Wow. Shots
Jets.
fired.
Hate him. And now they got the Dolphins
Okay.
next week. So I did bring them in at number 9. What do you got to say about that?
No, I can agree with number 9. I agree with the Bills at number 9. Josh Allen had his first 300-yard passing game. Josh Allen looked really good out there on Sunday. I see that face, Matt. I see that.
Yeah.
I mean, he put up 300 yards for the first time in his career. Hey, he looked good out there. I think he's finally settling in with this offense. Yeah, I like the Bills. I like their defense too. I like them at number 9.
Yeah, I also like you sliding them in there into the top 10. They are a team that is going to benefit from a weaker schedule this season and kind of maybe give you a little smoke and mirrors to really see like how good we are. But come like week 7, or they play the Chiefs, and then like week 8 they play the Patriots, and then Seattle. You know, that 4-week scheme there, we will really see how good they actually are. But moving this next week, they have the Miami Dolphins. As I do have the Dolphins beating the Bills, I still think the Bills are going to go 11-5 this season, and I do really like them. Josh Allen's taken a big step this season. Going to continue that.
Yeah, and I think you can just see it if you listen to any of Josh Allen's before the season reports. He was on some podcasts, things of that nature, and just the confidence in his voice with who he's being surrounded by talent-wise.
Right.
Hopefully he does make the good step, because I think with that he does have an arm if he can just make the throw.
And he has the number 1 receiver now in Stephon Diggs too. So definitely good things for the Bills.
Yep. At number 8.
Good.
Patriots. Now, they also were not on my preseason power rankings. They did beat Miami 21-11. They do have a tough matchup with Seattle next week. Now, Cam Newton, he had 15 rushing attempts. That's his most since 2015, and 14 of them were designed runs. Completely different offense than we've seen in many years for the Patriots. So it's exciting.
It is. It's really exciting, and I hated the Patriots because I did not like Tom Brady. But now that he's gone, like, okay, cool. I can watch the Patriots. Now I think Josh McDaniels is going to have a really fun time this season, and he's really going to be able to open up that playbook with Cam Newton. Right? He's going to be able to have design runs like you talked about, Matt, with Cam Newton. I want to put the Patriots higher, but I'll agree with you and leave them at number 8. Stat-wise, Cam Newton didn't have a, oh, shit kind of game, but the eye test when I watched the Patriots, I was like, oh, shit, Cam Newton is back, right? He didn't have gaudy numbers and everything like that, but he controlled that game. He controlled it from an offensive standpoint. I'm really excited. I'm a fan of Cam Newton, and to see him healthy out there doing what he did, I'm excited to see what's going to happen this season with the Patriots. As long as he can stay healthy, the Patriots are going to be right back in it to where we're talking about them in the AFC Championship or Super Bowl contenders.
Yeah, I am not drinking that Patriot Kool-Aid quite yet. However, I do have them going 9-7 on the season with Cam Newton on the team. But the biggest question that I have is, are we just seeing smoke and mirrors? Are the Dolphins just that bad, and the Patriots just have to be a little bit better? Because if you look at the stats, they had just over 300 yards total offense. I mean, that to me is not a top 10 team in the NFL. I mean, we want to see power on both sides of the ball, just like what Ben said. He like the 49ers, or sorry, like Mike said, you want to see powers on both sides of the ball. I would have them as like a number 12 or like 11. I wouldn't have them in the top 10.
I get what you're saying, but if they only put up 300 yards total offense all season long, but they win every single game, are they not a powerful team?
You can say that their defense is good, right?
Can you say the defense is good because you still got to put up points on offense?
This is how we'll know. If they're a powerful team and they're deserving of being on the power rankings, they will lose to Seattle by less than a touchdown or less. If they can stay with and maintain and take up the clock, taking care of time of possession and really slow it down for Seattle, they're deserving. But I don't know. That's why they're really barely in it right now.
I don't know if you can judge it off that Seattle game. For one, it is at Seattle. Yes, there's no fans in the stands, but it's still going to travel across the country. I want to see them versus a team like the Raiders. They should absolutely stomp the Las Vegas, and then we'll see how powerful they are, I think.
Like that take. Good take. All right, so now we're down to number 7. I've got a team I'm really high on. They were not in my preseason rankings once again. That is the Arizona Cardinals. They beat San Fran 24-20. They've got the Washington football team, which pains me every time to say that bullshit. They got them next week. Arizona had 29 first downs to 18 for the 49ers. The Cardinals outgained them 404 yards to 366. I knew the offense would be good, especially when they got D-Hop. I didn't think D-Hop would get as many targets as he got. I thought it was going to be spread around a lot more since they have so many weapons. But it was interesting to see him get so much. I think it was like over 40% target share was to DeAndre Hopkins, which is nuts. And I think their defense didn't play well, but played good enough. So that's why they're in at 7. I like that team a lot.
I like the Cardinals at 7. He didn't spread the ball around, like you said, a whole lot. It was mostly to Hopkins. But when you have other weapons around you, besides DeAndre Hopkins, that frees up Hops for a lot, right? So when you have that caliber of a receiver that's man-to-man a lot, I'm throwing it to Hop because you throw up that 50-50 ball to Hopkins, 8 times out of 10, he's coming down with it. That was the worst mistake Houston, Texas could have done is get rid of DeAndre Hopkins. The hell were they thinking? I like him. I like him at this. I think Kyler Murray.
Bad man.
He's a bad man. He's definitely going to be in the MVP mix this season.
He definitely should, and I think the Arizona Cardinals are still going to make the playoffs this season, as a wild card. After watching this game, I think I had them sliding in there at the 7, like the 7th spot there. I could see them just jumping up at high as a fifth seed now in that NFC wild card hunt there. But to take a playbook out of Benz's playbook here, you are only as good as your next game here. And guys, do not sleep on the Washington football team. They're a very, very good team. They're a great defense, probably top 10. The only thing that they are missing is Alex Smith at quarterback, and they might be a playoff caliber team. So I'm going to measure the Cardinals off of the next game versus the Washington team, and yeah, I do like them in the top 10. As far as 7, I think that might be a little bit too rich for my liking right now, just because they've been so bad for so long. Maybe not try to drink the Kool-Aid this yet, but I'd have them at like 10.
Okay, awesome. So then we got number 6. That is going to be the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, I did have them ranked number 7 on the preseason rankings, so they did jump up a spot. Big Ben's return, I feel like that really raises the team's floor, but it definitely gives them a higher ceiling, especially with that stout defense. I mean, it's amazing what they did against arguably the best running back in the league right now. Now that offensive line, if you saw it last night, you saw him getting constantly pummeled. There was not a run where he didn't get touched in the back of the backfield. It was crazy. Did you
just say arguably the best running back in the league of Saquon?
Arguably. Yep. Oh yeah.
He's better than Zeke.
Hell no. What?
Arguably. That means not definitively, LeBlanc. That means arguably. He's playing for the New York Giants, bud. If he was on the Cowboys, you would tell me he is the best running back in the league without a doubt.
I would still want Zeke.
No, you wouldn't, because you'd have quads. Have you seen his quads, bro?
Yeah.
I don't care how big your quads are when you only rush for 23 yards.
Bro. Oh.
In
we'll pray for you.
In Benz's defense, there was literally a back on him before he even got the ball 9 times out of 10. It was that offensive line is ridiculous for the Giants, 100%. So Steelers at 6, Mike. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know if I want to put them this high. It took them a little while to get going on offense. That defense, though, is monstrous. That defense, wow. I was really impressed last night watching them. I did not think that defense was going to come out like that this season because they were decent last season. They didn't look as good as they did this season. Not at all. So I don't know if I want to put them at number 6, maybe at like 9 or 8. But we'll see how the next game goes.
Number 6 is a perfect spot for them, Matt. This is one that you nailed right on the money. And Mike is talking about slow starts, whatever. Who also had a slow start on Sunday? Aaron freaking Rodgers had a slow start. You know who had a fast start? Tom Brady had a fast start. How did those two games end up? I'm okay with the slow start if you end up just fine. I mean, shit. Throw me a interception the first drive down the field, but if you get 4 or 5 touchdowns for the rest of the game, I'm taking that. The Steelers at 6, that is a great pick. They could easily start the season 5-0. Maybe the first loss, maybe going into Baltimore, losing to the Ravens. But if they're 5-0, I might give the Steelers the edge in that game. Matt, that's a great pick. 6 Steelers.
LeBlanc, you got anything else, or should I go on to 5?
Go on to 5. I don't believe the Steelers should be the 5.
All right.
I'm going to touch on something Buck said this next one.
All right, no problem. So at number 5, I have the Green Bay Packers. Now, it pains me to say this. You can obviously see I got Kirk looking over my shoulder here. But it pains me to say, that the Packers pummeled the Vikings 43-34. That 34 is a mirage for the Vikings, I'll tell you that. A lot of garbage points there that we put up towards the end to make it look, I'll call it respectable, but it ain't respectable anytime you give up 40+. It's going to be interesting. They do play Detroit next week. But just to see Aaron Rodgers do what he does, I mean, I know you guys were asking that question, who to me is the best quarterback to ever play? And that's really tough because you're comparing old-timers to current guys to the new school of Patrick Mahomes, right? I'm going to call him the new school because I firmly believe that Patrick Mahomes will be the best to ever do it. But you look at a guy like Aaron Rodgers and you look what he can do and how he controls each and every game. He walks up, he'll do his snap count, and he'll be able to tell you exactly what's about to happen, basically. He sets his team up for success. You don't see that out of the majority of quarterbacks in the league. So, yeah, I got the Packers at 5.
I've got the Packers a little higher because, like you said, that 34 is definitely a mirage. A lot of those points came in garbage time when they were already up. There was no chance of Vikings coming back. Yes, Buck, slow starts. Okay, I agree with that. You said Aaron Rodgers had a slow start. Aaron Rodgers also threw for 4 touchdowns and 364 yards.
What did he do that first drive?
Wait. Big Ben got off to a slow start, but he didn't have these stats. Okay. He didn't have near these stats.
Still won.
Yeah, you still win. he won by what? A touchdown?
I believe it was 16-10, wasn't it? Was the final score of that game?
16 to 10, something like that. They 26-10. So he won by 10 points. If they wouldn't have scored these garbage points, if the defense would have been if really playing, because I felt like the defense towards the end of the game kind of laxed off a little bit and they got garbage points. If they would have played 60 minutes, I think this probably would have been 43-21. They really would have walloped them.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Really whooped a bad Vikings team. Congratulations.
I don't think the Vikings are bad though.
They're 5-12.
I don't think they're bad either. I don't think that they'll be at what Buck says. I understand that after seeing what I saw in week 1, me and Mike Reeves, who are Mike's super diehard, and it's just you see what you saw and you can't help but be worried. Now Green Bay Greg, he was on his show GBG and he was talking about how he has more faith in the Vikings than most Vikings fans at this point, and that's true. It's tough to watch because you feel like as a Vikings fan, you take a couple steps forward and then it's 5 steps back simply because you can never have what's needed at that time, I guess. So it's tough.
Well, Buck, I told you when we were picking Green Bay's schedule, I told you Aaron Rodgers was going to come out, and he's playing with a chip on his shoulder because they drafted Love behind him, and he feels like they're doing the same thing that they did with Brett Favre with him. He's coming out, and he's playing with a chip on his shoulder. I'm telling you right now, the way I saw, I haven't seen Aaron Rodgers play like that in a very, very long. Oh, I can't say a very, very long time. But Aaron Rodgers looked like Aaron Rodgers of 2016, 2000.
I'll tell you right now, what Aaron Rodgers looked like is a guy that had all day in the pocket, that rarely got touched. I think he got touched like twice during the whole game. I mean, any quarterback in the NFL that has that much time with not having to worry about getting smashed, that's why I firmly believe once they go against a defense that has some veterans that can actually do something, man. But yeah, no excuses. So that's what we got. Packers at 5. At number 4.
Hang
talk about the Packers. He wants
hang on 1 second here. You said you don't know another NFL quarterback that has all day in the pocket and can complete passes down the field. I'll give you 2, but I only need 1. Lamar Jackson. He can't throw the ball 12 yards past the field accurately. He could be 7-on-7. He's going to throw incompletes 60% of the time. Just let you know.
I like that.
Go ahead.
I think Packers should be ranked higher. I think Packers should be number 3.
GBG said Cardinals versus Packers in an NFC Championship game. You heard it here first.
Oh, GBG's. I thought he was sober. Maybe not. We might have to check on him after this. All right. So at number 4, Seahawks. Last week's ranking, I had them at 8, so they jumped up 4 spots. They beat Atlanta 38-25. They do play the New England Patriots, as we discussed. The big thing for me is to realize Jamal Adams' debut. 12 tackles, 2 quarterback hits, 1 sack. I mean, for an all-pro safety to come in and do that in his debut, pretty phenomenal. Also, Russell Wilson, seeing him being able to sling the ball around and Pete Carroll kind of loosening the leash. How long will that leash be loosened? That's time will only tell. And also Carson catching the rock. I mean, catching the rock and getting in, that's exactly, you like to see that as a fantasy owner. So
right.
Seahawks 4.
I can agree with the Seahawks at 4. Russell's my boy. I think Russell's number 1 quarterback in the league, in my opinion. I think he's better than Patrick Mahomes. I do. He's a veteran on the field. He's a leader on the field. Yeah. He can, yes, Patrick Mahomes can go with those no-look passes and everything like that, and that's all fine and dandy. But when it comes down to it and the game is on the line, I'm taking Russell Wilson over Patrick Mahomes any day. Now, with that being said, that addition of Jamal Adams and the way he came out and played without an offseason and just recently being traded to the Seahawks speaks volumes about their program. And it also speaks volumes about Jamal Adams. Seahawks are going to be a tough team this year. Green Bay Greg, it's not going to be the Cardinals and the Packers, sir. It's going to be Seattle and the Packers. and Seattle is going to the Super Bowl this year.
So before I go off on my rant here, I'm going to give a disclaimer. I do think the Seahawks are a good team. I think they are probably a top 5 team in the NFL toward the end of the season. Right now, when a safety is leading your team in tackles, something is not going right. Either A, that safety is playing in the box way too much and you're getting one-on-one coverage and you're going to get beat deep a lot on those cornerback plays, or your linebacking core just isn't very good. And Bobby Wagner and what's the other linebacker's name? Bruce Irving. They are good linebackers. So what is really going on over there in Seattle? We are known for their defense, right? And when a safety is making all those tackles, your front seven isn't doing their job. That means they're either throwing the ball all over the field, which you aren't getting pressure on the quarterback, which Jameson says, hey, their pass rushing sucks. And, 12 tackles for a safety, that is a lot. That makes me raise some red flags for the Seattle defense moving forward, because if you look at their schedule, now I am not putting stock in the Patriots side of this, but stock on the Seattle side of this. They have to shut the Patriots down. They have to thump the Patriots hard this week, or I could see them sliding out of the top 5 easily.
Like that take. Good take.
Did Matt Ryan and Julio Jones beat them deep at any point during that game?
Well, I mean, when you have 3 receivers that caught for over 100 yards receiving, I mean, they got roasted.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I hate to agree with Jameson because he's a 49ers fan here, but they should have signed Clowney in the offseason to get some pass rushing. I'm just putting out there. That will hurt them come toward the end of the year.
Okay.
Number 3, Matt.
Number 3, Baltimore Ravens. Last week I did have them at number 4. They did beat the poopy, no pun intended, Cleveland Browns 38-6. They've got Houston next week. I do expect them to get a W there as well. But yeah, explosive. I'm a Mark Ingram owner in a lot of my leagues, and that hurt me along the way. That was a little depressing in of itself. But just to see what they can do on both sides of the ball, at least in week 1, that's why they are where they are, and they jumped up a spot.
I'll agree with them at number 3. Mark Ingram, I have him in a fantasy in one of my leagues too. And for him to only run for, what was it, 29 yards or something like that? Like, what the hell?
Mm-hmm.
How do the Ravens need to get a new running back?
No, because they got Dobbins. But, I mean, you could definitely see in that game how Ingram looked like he had lost a step. Now,
yes.
if that's due to age or if that's due to some underlying issue, well, it's yet to see. But, I mean, yeah, that's why they filled that spot. Maybe they saw the need coming. So, yeah.
And a shelf of a running back is only 4 or 5 years anyways. I believe
Sure.
Ingram is his 5th or 6th year, so, I mean, definitely over the hill.
Yeah, he's definitely – I think Mark Ingram is probably, after this season, Mark Ingram's probably going to be one of those journeyman running backs.
Yeah.
I don't see him being with the Ravens after this season, especially if he continues on that path that he did on Sunday. You can't just put up 29 yards. You need more production out of your running back than 29 yards.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
In his defense, he did only have 10 carries too. So, I mean,
right.
It is hard to get going when you only touch the ball so little. So,
yes.
So you only get 10 touches. So how much faith does that tell you that the coaching staff has in Mark Ingram?
Well, the big thing to look at too is the score of the game. I mean, when a score of the game gets out of hand like it was quickly, I mean, you're not going to necessarily go to your pillars. You're going to kind of try to rely on other guys, give those guys reps since there was no preseason. So we'll see. I'm not ready to sell completely on Ingram yet, but the Ravens put up so much points that I want stock in any of them, just like the Chiefs. So.
Yeah, this is the one team that I totally disagree with you on this, Matt. The Ravens are the best team in the NFL right now. Like, they are a complete package team. They have the defense, they have the offense, they have the receiving core to win a lot of regular season games. The key word there is regular season. They should definitely be number 1 over the Chiefs, over the Saints, over the Seahawks. Ravens should be 1, but
interesting, like that. The team that I mean, why the next team is where it's at is because I have the Saints at number 2. They were at number 2 in my preseason rankings. I feel like they beat a better opponent in Tampa Bay than the Ravens beating Cleveland in week 1. That's why I kept them at number 2. It wasn't a great day for Drew Brees. I mean, he only had 160 yards over the air. That's only 5.3 yards per attempt. I'm not sold on that. You saw Mike Thomas's game, what was going on there as well. But when you got Kamara just snapping off and earning his big bag, I mean, it is what it is. So they beat Tampa 34-23. They got the Raiders next week, which should be interesting as well.
I'm kind of curious of what you mean snapping off, because Alvin Kamara only had 16 yards rushing and 51 yards receiving, just because he found the end zone.
Exactly. Yeah.
3 or 4 times.
Yeah, in comparison to Big Mike. Usually you got those red zone targets in Big Mike, and then he wasn't seeing them. You had the dump offs and things like that. So that's where I give Kamara the benefit of the doubt. But I mean, as a team, what was the offense? I think their defense did stand up when needed, but there's still some sharpening to do there. So
go ahead, Mike.
I don't think the Saints should be at number 2. I don't think they're that good of a team. I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are that shitty of a team. I really do. I mean, Tom Brady, bro, hang up the cleats. It's time. Gronkowski, hang up the cleats. Bro, it's time. It's like Tampa Bay is Tampa Bay now the team where all the old guys go to die? Let's be honest. Like Tom Brady, there was two interceptions that Tom Brady threw. You were like, what the hell are you doing? You're a veteran quarterback. You're a Super Bowl caliber quarterback, and you're throwing that? What the hell are you doing?
LeBlanc, though, take into account that he played with a team his whole life in a scheme that he could have done blindfolded, one hand behind his back, and now he's switching that up, building chemistry with the new team. I do give you credit where credit's due. He did not look like Tom Brady in that game.
I don't think he's going to look like Tom Brady all season long, because he
too much pressure on him.
No, it's not even that. It's not even that. Tom Brady's a fucking system quarterback. He fit Bill Belichick's system. Period. Bill Belichick won this week.
Yeah.
Tom Brady didn't.
Touche.
So,
you know what I mean?
Just to get back on point here, the Saints are a top 10 team. I don't know if they're number 2 quite yet. Drew Brees, you can say rust a little bit, or you can say he's over the hill too. I believe this is the first game in NFL history where the 2 starting quarterbacks were over the age of 40, and this is going to happen again week 8. So I do think the Bucs are highly overhyped, overrated. As far as a trash team, I mean they're not trash. I mean they're still going to get their 8 or 9 wins because their schedule is shit. But besides
I
that,
bet you the Browns can beat them.
Come on, man. Shit.
Come on, man.
Get out of here with that. I mean,
just saying,
my high school
Mike
team can beat the Browns.
Pissed off right now. He's sitting in his house right now and be like, "Damn it, I'm with these old guys. My season is done. If I was Mike Evans, I'd be like, trade me now. Trade me."
Wow. Traded to
Bro,
who?
if I was Mike Evans, I'd be in a cryogenic chamber trying to figure out what's going on with my body. That's what I'd be doing.
What is going on with his body is that Macklemore has been guarding him since 2018. He hasn't allowed a catch since.
Yeah.
So
beast mode.
Macklemore. Number 1, who do you got?
Number 1, I do have the Kansas City Chiefs. Just based on their performance, beating the Texans 34-20. I love Clyde. I think it was very impressive to see him get as many reps as he got week 1. I didn't expect for that to happen. I thought it would be more of a share in the backfield, kind of get him acclimated, but that wasn't the case. Just seeing Patty Mahomes do what he does. Now, I like how you brought that up with how you had the Ravens technically at number 1 right now, simply because of how their defense and overall looked. I have a lot of stock in the Chiefs' defense this year, and I feel like they did start slow last year, and they fine-tune, and they adjust. I'm hoping that's the same case this year. I just hope it happens faster. So we'll definitely see when they have to play against the Chargers this week. That's an interesting matchup.
It's a trap game.
Yeah, it's a very trap game just because they eat up a lot of clock. They do that slow play, those quick dump and grinds, those frickin' 20-plus play drives, that it's interesting. So I like that.
I like the I like the Ravens at number 1 and the Chiefs at number 2. I think the Ravens are the best overall team in the league. I think the Chiefs have a little bit work to do on defense. I mean, obviously we saw their offense firing on all cylinders. They didn't miss a step. They really didn't. It was Patty Mahomes had a slow start on that first and second drive. Yeah, yeah, he did. He did. You know it, Buck.
We aren't going to blame it on the receiver that had the ball go through his hands and hit him in the face like in the end zone, right? No, that isn't to blame.
As a team, you on offense, you started off slow, but you know what? It picked right back up, and then they were running up and down the field.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, it is the Houston Texans.
They still got J.J. Watt healthy though, so
yeah. But I mean, I want to see them play a better team on offense because I don't think the Houston Texans they weren't even a match for Kansas City on offense. You got rid of your number 1 receiver, and Deshaun Watson was really exposed week 1. He really didn't have a whole lot to throw to. So that's why I would say the Chiefs at number 2. Prove it to me on defense, and then maybe at number 1. But overall, Ravens number 1.
Yeah, just to add to Matt's point there, the Kansas City defense is really the only suspect spot on that whole team. Even their special teams are pretty damn good as well. Just to add some insights there, though, the Kansas City Chiefs did get a new defensive coordinator and a whole defensive staff last year, and Steve Spagnuolo is now the defensive coordinator. It took about 8 or 9 weeks to fine-tune that defense, and then past week 9 on, I believe the Kansas City Chiefs were top 5 defense stat-wise moving forward, and they added some more pieces at that linebacker. They are in the market for a safety, so I wouldn't be surprised if Earl Thomas ends up in Kansas City land, or even Clay Matthews, because they have reached out to them as well. If any of those two signings happen, clear shot Kansas City number 1, 100%. But right now, I actually have them at number 3. So
awesome.
I think Clay Matthews goes to the Cowboys.
No, he wants to win.
Mike McCarthy.
He wants to win.
Well, the Cowboys can win if they just fucking put Dak Prescott on the bench and let Andy Dalton come in and do his thing.
Alrighty, so just to go over the top 10 again here, this is Matt Ben's NFL Power Rankings for the All Access Sports Network here. At number 10, he had 49ers, number 9, Bills, 8, Patriots, 7, Cardinals, 6, Pittsburgh Steelers, number 7, the Green Bay Packers, 4, Seattle Seahawks, 3, Ravens, 2, Saints, 1, Kansas City Chiefs. Matt, who are your notables that are kind of right there on the cusp?
Yeah, so on the cusp, I had the Las Vegas Raiders. They beat the Panthers in a pretty even matchup, 34-30. They play against the Saints Monday night. I feel like that might be a trap game as well. We'll see what happens there. I also have the Rams in there since they beat the Boys 20-17. They got Philly this week. Aaron Donald is just a freak of nature. In of itself. And then you've got Tennessee Titans, who LeBlanc had brought up earlier. They beat Denver 16-14, so they have them as the notables as well. If they can get a kicker that can actually knock down a field goal besides the last one of the game, they could be dangerous. So we'll see what happens.
Raiders as a notable?
Raiders as a notable.
Who is this guy?
You heard it here first, Buck.
Who is this guy?
I mean, if they beat the Saints on Monday night, we're having a whole different conversation about the Saints in the power ranking, and we're having a totally different conversation about Las Vegas in the power ranking.
Just to help you back this statement, Matt, I have been on the Raiders for the last couple years. They're either gonna be really, really good or really, really, really bad. So there is no mediocrity point for them. Now is this year that they take the step up and become a really, really good team. I don't know if John Gruden is the coach anymore to get them to that really good status. To be honest with you,
interesting.
Jason Garrett might be able to.
Maybe, yeah. I think when you have Josh Jacobs in the backfield, and that will be an interesting test to see if they can actually get a running game going against the Saints. That will be a great test for them in of itself. But just the explosiveness on both sides of the ball and just being one as a team, I think Gruden can surprise people. Because I think players want to ride for him. For the most part, they want to ride for him, and that's crucial. You see it in today's game. Why I hate Adam Gase so much is because players don't want to ride for Adam Gase. They want to get the fuck out of town. So just to see that difference in of itself, it's interesting.
All right, Matt. Thank you for having us on, or thanks for coming on, I should say. We'll talk to you again next Tuesday, and we'll see how these rankings shake out for Week 3 NFL rankings. Ben, tell them where they can find you.
Yeah, so make sure to follow me on Twitter @TwistBenz. Also, make sure to go and like Twist Sports Talk on all the social media platforms, as well as going to twistsportstalk.com. Appreciate it, fellas. We'll talk to you soon. I won't be around next week. If worst case scenario, we'll have my counterpart, Mike Reeves, step on and give his little insights as well. I'll be on my honeymoon.
Yeah.
Oh, that should be fun with Mike Reeves.
Making a baby at 3. So
we can make fun of Mike Reeves for being a fan of the Vikings.
All right, guys. All right, Matt, thank you for being on. We'll catch you next week, guys. All right, so, guys, we're going to take a quick...
Hey, Matt, real quick before you go. Go, Pack, go!
Blow, Pack, blow. Have a good one, boys.
All right, guys. We're going to take a quick little break here. Right after the break, we're going to quickly jump over the Monday night games here and go over them real quick. Guys, we'll be right back here. This is Mike and Mike, Man Hour, Michael Buckheiser, Michael LeBlanc. Be right back. And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Mike and Mike here, live, raw, and uncut sports talk. We just talked with Matt Benz from Benzy Bits and Twist Sports Talk. This Week in Sports Talk is their show, both All Access Sports Network's family there. So, Mike, what are your thoughts on that, on his power rankings?
I mean, I like his power rankings. He had a few that, in my opinion, that were wrong, but man, I like that every Tuesday power rankings. I mean, that basically took up our whole show, but I enjoyed that.
Yeah. So, I mean, for the most part, I really did agree with him. The only thing is, I don't like the 49ers that in there, man. Like I feel like I don't know.
I don't like the 49ers in there. They're really suspect on offense. Jimmy G is not gonna. I don't think Jimmy G is gonna be able to get it done this year. I didn't want to believe you with the Super Bowl hangover, but with Arizona coming out and just dominating that game in all 3 phases,
right?
Like that, it was like whoa, San Francisco, y'all were supposed to have this monstrous defense, and then they laid out the blueprint to take Bosa out. And that's all everybody wanted to talk about last season was Bosa this, Bosa that, Bosa this. Come week 1 this season, Bosa was a non-factor.
Yeah, honestly, that surprised me. Now, I want to pump the brakes a little bit. I still think the 49ers are going to get 7 to 8 wins, but they just aren't going to make the playoffs because of that AFC West is looking to be pretty good. I believe they are the only division with 3 wins out of week 1, and the reason why they didn't get all 4 is because they had some interdivision games. So clearly might be the hardest division in football moving forward. But we got a couple minutes left on the show here. Let's quickly touch on the Monday night games here. The first game was the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the New York Giants. We both had the Giants winning that game. The Giants laid an egg, losing to Big Ben and the Giants 26-16. What are your thoughts on that one?
At least we had the score right. Just flopped.
Yeah.
I really thought we were going to see a better game from Danny Dimes last night, but obviously the Giants have issues with that offensive line.
Yeah.
I mean, Saquon Barkley only had
23 yards.
23 yards rushing last night. And that speaks volumes about your offensive line. That a running back of his caliber can only rush for 26 yards. So, and then, pretty much every time he snapped the ball. Now, is it their offensive line or is the Steelers' front 7 just that good?
Sorry, I lied. He had 6 yards. 15 carries on 6 yards. 6
yards rushing?
Yeah, 6 yards rushing. As a team, they had 26 yards. Daniel Jones had 22 yards and he had 6. So, ouch.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, and Daniel Jones, it doesn't help when you go 26 for 41 either. That's roughly about a 55% completion rating. So, I mean,
The
wow.
the biggest problem about this game was I was kind of riding high on the Giants. Like I had them as my sleeper pick. Like I had them sliding into the playoffs, because I thought they did great in the draft. They drafted offensive line. They drafted defense. I thought this team was going to come out firing and like, whoa, guys, look out for the Giants. Much like we're talking about the Cardinals, just like now. But now I'm starting to question. I'm starting to question my eyes. Like, is the Jason Garrett curse real thing? Because think about this. If Jason, like the Giants line did not look this bad last year, and they added pieces in the draft to make that line better, more impressive. You hire Jason Garrett and Cooper Rush as your, and then you get the arguably the best running back in the league, a top 3 running back in the league, gets 6 yards.
You know what I noticed last night? Now that you say that, did it seem like the Giants were kind of predictable last night?
Yeah, I feel like Tony Romo could have been in the booth and told us exactly whatever play was getting ready to happen. 100%.
So, is Jason Garrett just a predictable coach?
Is Jason Garrett? He is the OC, isn't he, or was he just the quarterback coach?
Yeah. No, he's the OC.
Shit. I think so. You kind of have to chalk it up to Jason Garrett is just that bad. Maybe. I don't know. Only time will tell. Moving on to the next game of the night, Tennessee Titans take on the Denver Broncos. We both got this wrong too. I believe we both had the Broncos winning this game. The Titans drive down last second to win the game, 16-14. Fun fact here: Tennessee Titans are 14-0 when Derrick Henry rushes over 100 yards, and he had 116 yards rushing last night. What are your thoughts on this game?
This was kind of an ugly game last night.
Very
on
ugly.
Both sides. Neither team really impressed me. Derrick Henry looked like he didn't miss a step though.
Right.
Derrick Henry did what Derrick Henry did. I honestly didn't think he was going to be able to do that. But we'll see as the season progresses if he can continue to do that. But ugly win by Tennessee last night.
Yeah, honestly, this shows me how good the Denver Broncos might be this season because they lost their best defensive player, Von Miller, just a couple days before this game with the season injuring. I believe it was a Achilles tear or a pec tear or something that I can't remember exactly what he did.
Dislocated tendon.
There you go. Well, either way, he's out for the season. And when you hold the Tennessee Titans down to 16 points, yes, Derrick Henry did get 116 yards, but last season when they played, Derrick Henry only had 28 yards against this Denver Broncos team. So, like, if they can find somebody to step up in that Von Miller type of role, the Denver Broncos could be a very, very scary team. I'm a little bit scared for my Kansas City Chiefs, to be honest, because, if the Denver Broncos get that defense, they get that offense figured out, score 28 points a game, very, very scary team, and they could be easily 9-6 moving forward. I'm kind of nervous but excited to see the Broncos maybe, take that step up this season. Any closing thoughts before we head out?
No, man, I'm so happy to be able to talk about football, man. Like, oh, it feels so damn good. And you know what? I really like our new time.
1 o'clock p.m. East Coast time. It gives us a chance to interact with the fans more. We aren't so getting out so early, right? Whatnot. But with that being said, guys, we are going to head out for today. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Follow us on YouTube. We're giving a giveaway tomorrow over there on the YouTube channel. We're giving away a hoodie. So jump over there on the YouTube channel, enter the giveaway, and tomorrow we're bringing back Mike's Thoughts. Every Wednesday, Mike Thoughts. Get excited, guys. Get excited. Live, raw, and uncut sports talk. Mike and Mike Man Hour. We'll catch you guys tomorrow. We out.
Deuces.
You guys know.
0. Yeah.
Assholes.
Get high, rapper. The Man Hour. You already know. It's live. It's raw. It's going down. Like this. I'm going around and letting everybody know that they welcome to the show. It's the latest thing you ever seen, you already know.
We
Where
are
we
live.
introduce you to your host of the